things are not looking good for Ananta. I mean, after we got all the gameplays and everything, it's like the game kind of went silent. There was not really a lot of news about when the game is going to launch, what's going on behind the scenes, what the devs are actually working on, what's the progress. Other than the few, game show reveals and a few leaked gameplays, we haven't really had much information on what's going on in Ananta. And this game is huge. Like, there is a huge hype surrounding this game, right? It's supposed to be the anime GTA. It has the potential for it, but it's not looking all pretty for NetEase. There's a lot of things that are going wrong with Ananta right now, and we have an entire post by this page on Twitter called Ananta News. So this is some real insider information regarding Ananta. Basically, this is not just about the game. This is about what's going on in the dev studios, right? This is what's going on in the mind of the devs who are working in Ananta. What is the condition of these devs? What is the management thinking? What the company is thinking about the game and how they are progressing through it. So I think all of this stuff really matters a lot, especially if you want to create a high quality game. Got some concerning info about Ananta's development. Nothing confirmed, but the details sound like they come from someone close to the art or production side. So this is coming from someone who is working in the company and is working on a pretty important role, actually, art or production. I think this is pretty important, especially in a game like Ananta. If you guys have noticed, Ananta is trying to market itself a lot based on its anime aesthetic, based on its high quality production, be it music or be it the character designs, the world design and stuff. So this is someone who works in a pretty important position in the company. And prolonged development, no clear gameplay vision. The first problem. Allegedly, the project has been in the works for years, but still lacks a solid core loop. One insider described it as a mashup of popular titles without a unified direction. Now, I feel like this is something that was a problem with Ananta ever since they launched the game. I mean, showed us the game first time, okay? So I'm talking about the time when this game was supposed to be gacha. This game changed from a gacha game to completely solo player focused. I mean, not completely solo player focused, but it completely removed gacha from the game and made all the characters free. That's like a huge jump, okay? When you are changing the entire monetization of a game, it does not just mean changing the in-game shop. There is a lot of stuff that needs to be done when you change something like this, right? You need to change the way players are unlocking characters. You need to change how the game works. You need to have certain in-game modes or mechanics that keep people invested. Like in gacha games, people are invested in playing events. People are invested in doing daily commissions and stuff because they get premium currency. In this game, you are completely removing that system, right? So you have to give people incentive to keep playing the game. All of these changes have to be made when you are removing gacha from a game. Now, if the game was not designed to be a gacha from the beginning, it would not really be that big of a headache. But when you are a gacha game and then suddenly you decide to not be gacha, I think that puts a lot of pressure on your management, on your devs. Everyone has to now think of how to make the game feel better. And every single time I look at Ananta's gameplay, any of the league gameplays or any of the game show demos, I always have this one question in mind. See, the game looks really good. I'm not saying that the game looks bad, right? And it clearly has a lot of inspiration taken from a lot of different games. It has inspiration from GTA, it has inspiration from Spider-Man, it has inspiration from Wuthering Waves, a lot of different games, right? But the problem with me is, this game does not seem to have something that makes people log in every single day or makes people want to play it for a long time. Now, if you are trying to make a game like GTA, and it's a paid game, that's not really a big deal because you launch the game with a price tag, you make the development cost almost immediately after you launch the game, right? This game is going heavily on cosmetics. So this is trying to be like Where Winds Meet, a game that does not have gacha, but has cosmetics and is making money through cosmetics. But the difference between Where Winds Meet and this game is Where Winds Meet has proper end game modes, right? It has got guild PvP, it's got player PvP, it's got dungeons, raid bosses, all of that stuff that you can do with multiple people. And that is why they got like $42,000 ship cosmetics where you can invite lots of people on it, like 30-40 people on it, show off your cosmetics, show off your money, flex, all of that stuff. That is why people buy cosmetics, right? They want to flex that stuff. But nowhere in the gameplay or Ananta have I seen that they have such massively multiplayer aspects, right? These MMO aspects where people can showcase the skins. So anyone who is going to be spending money for skins in this game is probably going to be doing it for his personal interest, right? He likes the character, he just personally wants to watch the character in a more prettier skin. And I don't think that gives a very strong objective for people to like spend money, okay? If you want the low spenders or if you want like the free-to-play players to want to spend money in your game, you have to give them a more stronger objective to spend money for. On the other hand, if it wants to go down the GTA route with paid cosmetics and stuff, GTA also does it, right? GTA has got GTA Online, and GTA Online now makes much more money than the base GTA game ever did. So This game does not seem to have something like that as well. An online mode where you are doing heists, where you're doing raids, where you can do role plays. Like modding in GTA and role playing in GTA is huge. If you go and check Twitter, if you even just check GTA content in general now, most people are into role plays. They like doing that stuff because they can mod the game, they can change a lot of stuff in the game, and GTA Online just gives so much freedom for them to do that. This game does not seem to have a mode like that as well. So you are trying to take inspiration from all of these different games, but you also have to have a clear idea of how you are going to sustain the game, right? And when it comes to Ananta, that is one thing I'm really concerned about. I don't feel like there is a clear direction where this game wants to go. It does not know what it's trying to be, and I'm really confused how are they going to sustain this game in the long run, especially when it comes to monetization, right? Now, NetEase has been cooking a few banger games lately, so I know that they probably have something on their mind and they have not shown us as of now. But the way that the game switched from gacha to non-gacha, that kind of makes you feel like the people working behind this game don't really have a clear idea what they want the game to be. So the next point is heavy crunch culture. Reports of routine overtime stretching up to 10 p.m. That is crazy, with pressure on everyone who pushes back. So first of all, I think NetEase is at a point where they want to release this game as soon as possible because they just saw that the game has a lot of hype, right? People are excited about it, and this game, let's be real, is like a knockoff version of GTA. Right? So they definitely want to get this game out before GTA 6, in my opinion, because GTA 6, let's be real, once it drops, people are not probably going to be trying out GTA clones. Okay, and GTA 6 is dropping next year, so they definitely have a set deadline. They want to launch this game at least a few months before GTA, so they can capture the GTA audience, not just the gacha audience, but the GTA audience as well. And they definitely have some strong deadlines to meet. But I don't think making your employees work overtime is really a solution, because once you make your employees start working overtime, they get drained, they don't have the creative freedom anymore, right? They don't have the energy to work on your projects, and then they start cutting corners, they start taking shortcuts, and your product at the end of the day, the game comes out with a lot of bugs, a lot of issues, or just a lack of polish in general, right? Now, heavy work culture has been a problem in Chinese and Japanese companies for a really long time, and we have had some really, really bad cases, like workers literally living inside the office because they don't get time to go back home. So I don't know, man. I just hope that they are not having to go through all of that stuff, because it just sounds way too cruel. Meetings. Some employees claim that refusing overtime leads to closed-door interrogation-style discussions with the management. Now, this is really crazy, okay? This is really insane. First of all, a company should not be able to force overtime on its workers. Every overtime needs to be paid, obviously, but the choice should be on the employee if he has the time or if he has the intention of working overtime to get extra money, right? No company should be forcing their employees to work overtime, and if they don't want to work overtime, you're having an entire interrogation with them, like putting them in a closed-door panel. You're having that FBI-style interrogation. I don't know what they are doing, but that definitely sounds like a really toxic work culture to me. Because if your company is doing something like this to you, my suggestion would be, bro, the company does not care about you as an employee, right? It only cares about its product at the end of the day, making money. It does not give a shit about you and your mental health and your physical health or your well-being. It's best to quit companies like this. And the fact that they are doing this, it's very concerning, okay? Now, there are many people who probably don't have alternative jobs who are stuck with NetEase on this project, or maybe they're under contracts, so they have to go through all of this stuff. But it's pretty sad. Right? These sort of toxic work culture antics, it definitely puts a really negative impression of your game. And I know for a fact that once this sort of news, this information makes it to mainstream media, especially in the West, okay, especially in the global game market, I know there's going to be a lot of people who will literally boycott this game when it releases because it was torturing its employees. Because this is a big thing. This is a big thing in the Western market, right? This may not be a big thing in the Eastern market where people are mostly used to working overtime. But employee rights and stuff, all this, in the West, they got entire unions about this. So if something like this leaks out, if people in the global market come to know about this, I feel like the game will lose potentially a lot of players because of this move. I mean, who am I saying leaking? I mean, it's already out, right? I'm making a video on this, so the Western media is gonna know about this. Anyways, micromanagement issues. Leadership is set to demand pixel level revisions on assets, even in areas where they may not fully understand the technical constraints. Now, on one hand, I appreciate the fact that they are working to polish the game. They are even looking at very small details in the game, like they want to make everything pixel perfect. But on the other hand, if you are trying to make something like this, you are basically trying to make a game like Rockstar, right? And Rockstar takes like 15-20 years to make one game. They put in that amount of time, they put in that amount of budget, because if you want to perfect every single thing in a game, it takes time, it takes effort, and it definitely needs a lot of money. If you are working on a time constraint and your employees are already working overtime, they are already stressed, and then you ask them to add these pixel level details in a game, I think they have the right to be frustrated. Morale and testing problems. Morale is reportedly so low that the devs are scripting or automating internal playtest submissions to avoid spending personal time with unstable builds. Now, once again, this is like really bad for a game, okay? Because internal playtests, that is the way, the devs figure out if there is some bug in the game, if there is something that does not feel right. If you are automating that shit, that means that at the end of the day, the game that will come out will have lots of bugs, will have things that does not feel right. In order to test a game properly, in order to see very small, minute problems in a game, you need time. You need to spend the time to play the game properly, to examine every single thing. And if you are not giving that time, then how is someone supposed to figure out what's wrong with the game? So this is definitely a kind of a serious issue, where if the game releases in a state like this, then there's a high possibility that there may be lots of bugs and stuff in the game. Okay, it's not looking good. Well, none of this is verified. Several points, especially the pixel level nitpicking and the small dark room culture, mirror common complaints from workers in large Chinese tech studios. It reads less like fanfiction and more like frustrated dev describing familiar production problems. So like I said, guys, this sort of work culture, this sort of overtime, stressing people out is pretty common in China and Japan. I think it's even worse in Japan. There are rules in China, obviously, but companies figure out ways to work around that, right? So if it was something else, if this was not a game dev company, that would still make sense. But when you rush game developers, when you force game developers to make games in short amounts of time, you end up with half-baked products. Because game development and game creation is something that needs an open mind, that needs a lot of creativity, right? That needs patience. You can't rush these things. And that is why big games, like the most popular games from big AAA studios, take 8 years, 10 years, 15 years time to make, because they simply cannot rush these things. They have to take time to figure out stuff that's wrong with the game. They have to take time to polish each and every aspect of the game. You cannot rush things like this. And I can understand the pressure that is coming from GTA that's going to release next year. But honestly, guys, I feel like this game, ANANTA in particular, should be focusing more on what uniqueness it brings to the table. There are a lot of things that's unique to this, because this is an anime GTA. The GTA 6 that's releasing is going to be more realistic, right? So they definitely need to work on more unique aspects of the game, so they don't have to rush it, right? They are not forced to launch this game before GTA 6. They're not constantly in this trauma that if GTA 6 launches, our game is going to completely flop, right? They need to work on improving the game, giving it some personality, giving it a proper direction at this point, giving people a real reason to play this game. People should be playing this game for what it is, not because they are tired of waiting for GTA 6 and they just want another GTA game to spend time on. These posts surfaced within the past week. Platform is some Chinese platform. I have no idea what this is. Take all of this with caution, but if true, let's pray for better. Now, obviously, all of this, you have to take it with a grain of salt. As you said, this comes from someone close to the art or production side, and it's totally possible that maybe, this is a frustrated employee who's just frustrated with work and just went ahead and yapped a lot of shit about the company, right? But these are things that are very internal, and there's not really any proper way to confirm if all of this is true or not. But if this is true, then it is kind of concerning. Especially, I feel like this thing is definitely true, right? No clear gameplay vision. I feel like this is completely true. This game does not seem to know what it wants to be. Anything unique, what it's trying to do different. I don't see it. With that being said, it's not really looking that good for ANANTA. Now, honestly, with all of these problems, I doubt if they will even be able to make a complete version of the game by 2026. Let's be real, because dev motivation from this seems to be at an all-time low. And when that happens, work naturally slows down. So maybe, I don't know, if the game releases in 2026, maybe it will not be a well-polished, maybe it will not be a complete game, or maybe they will release half of the game, half of the map that we saw in the game show, in the Tokyo game show. So maybe we are going to be getting half of the map, not the full map, and then they just release the rest of it later on. That would kind of work, to be honest, because you're giving people something to play while you are working on the background, and that will also maybe make them a little bit more money, drive the motivation, right? I don't know what they're going to be doing, but what do you guys think of this situation? Honestly, it's not really looking that good. With that being said, this video was not really some happy news about ANANTA. This was kind of some unhappy, dark shit about the game. What's happening in the background, right? Let me know your thoughts about this entire situation. And I'll see you guys in the next video.